This is the BSR Podcast. I'm Zach Wilt. On the line with me right now, my two buddies. Let's bring in Patrick Guthrie first. Patrick, how you doing?
Pretty good, man. Pretty good. Just sitting up here in a rainstorm in Connecticut.
Oh, well, you could be sitting down here in a rainstorm in Baltimore. It's the same thing. And a guy that probably is Matt Lund. Matt, what's up, buddy?
Hey, Zach, Patrick, how's it going?
Awesome, man. Thanks for joining us.
I am sitting in a rainstorm. Actually, I'm not. I hear it outside.
It's brutal. It's brutal. It's a freaking winter wonderland out there right now. So, very happy Thanksgiving to you guys. We're when you're hearing this, it'll be Wednesday, November 23rd, one day from Thanksgiving. Patrick, you got any big Thanksgiving plans?
Bar crawl.
Bar crawl.
Bar crawl and the old 5-year high school reunion.
High school reunion. Matt, can you top that?
Actually, I think I can. Well, on Sunday, friends of mine are throwing a white trash Thanksgiving bash.
Oh, man. What does a white trash Thanksgiving bash entail?
It's basically dressing up like a redneck or basic white trash. Not really a set rules. I'm thinking I'm probably going to wear something flannel.
Where does the Thanksgiving enter into that? That just sounds like a white trash party just at the time of the year of Thanksgiving. It seems like you can do it anytime.
I feel like you need to eat a deep fried Twinkie if you're at a white trash Thanksgiving bash.
We're going to have fried chicken, so that might...
Sounds like the Red Sox locker room.
Oh!
Well... What about pickup football? Do you guys have any pickup football planned for Thanksgiving? Not high school, maybe family football games, Patrick?
I used to. My family's old, man. my dad is 67.
Jeremy Guthrie is not 67. You are a liar.
He really doesn't look it. And funnily enough, I also don't look Asian.
Half Asian.
I don't want to get a paternity test done because I think I know the results, but no, we don't have family football planned.
That's a bummer, Matt.
Actually, no football plans in the works. Buddies in high school, we used to do it, and it got to the point where people were getting injured. So
that's not good.
We kind of cut that off. And like Patrick, my parents are way too old to play football.
I don't know what happened to mine. I have cousins around similar age as me, and the past. I don't think we did it last year. In previous years, we always had pickup football. My grandfather even played pickup football, and let me tell you what. There's nothing that boosts my confidence more than playing a family football game, because at 6'2" or 6'3", Patrick, you're about the same height, so
it's a great feeling.
It is, and if you play like pickup basketball with your friends at 6'2", you end up being like the center, and you're like down low getting rebounds, with your friends or whatever. And I'm not great at pickup football, but 6'2", amongst friends is like 7 feet tall in the NBA. And
entirely true.
And that's the way it works with pickup football too. Like if my pickup football career has ended on Thanksgiving, the Turkey Day Thanksgiving family football game extravaganza, it's a Hall of Fame career. I mean, I don't think I ever ended a game without 6 touchdowns or something, because it was
just line up opposite the small young girl cousin and run the sluggo route into the ground
and just throw it up in the air, and I'll jump up and grab it. Like, that's always the way it worked. Like, if you really want to boost my confidence, I can be cocky about one thing, and that's Thanksgiving football with the family, because at 6'2", I'm just, I'm freaking Randy Moss out there. Like, it's ridiculous. So I don't know if we're going to have that or not this year. I sure hope so, because that'd be awesome. But I don't know. I haven't heard any plans. We'll all be together, but, we'll have to do it early, because the Harbowl, as we're calling it here in Baltimore, Patrick, the Harbowl.
The Harbowl.
The Harbowl.
You people are ridiculous. Just call it the Harbaugh
want to hear it. Why? It's easier to say Harbowl, and it's cooler. Matt, agree? Harbowl?
I'll be honest, it's the first I've heard of it, but I like it better than Harbaugh Bowl.
Yeah, it rolls off the tongue. Harbowl. I love it. So, Patrick, you're in, the city, well, I guess the area, because you're between New York and Boston, in that area.
Yeah.
The ESPN center of the sports universe, that thinks that what goes on up there, is much more important than anything that goes on in the rest of the country. So with that said, how is the rest of the nation taking in the Harbowl?
Have you seen ESPN the past few days? You guys they're getting a lot of coverage. They're playing up the brother angle. They've got the interviews with what is it? What's their dad's name?
Jack.
Jack. Yes, they had the 3-way interview with Jack and Jim and John, and they're all talking about like, oh yeah, we used to fight in our bedroom all the time, blah 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 blah. But yes, it is getting played up.
Well,
I don't know if it would be getting as played up as well if both teams weren't, leading their divisions. But
that's a good point. I mean, it is. If you look at the schedule, it's not just about the brother rivalry. I mean, that's an awesome aspect of it. But I think if the 49ers came in here with 2 wins, it wouldn't be nearly as big.
And that's what everybody expected. Everybody expected the 49ers to be walking in here with 2 wins. I heard an interview with Jack Harbaugh before the season being like, oh, yeah, we're all excited about the Thanksgiving game. I'm like, yeah, when you walk in with whoever, like Colin Kaepernick playing quarterback and you're, 1-9?
It's amazing.
That's hilarious.
It's amazing Jim Harbaugh has turned Alex Smith into a somewhat decent quarterback. I think that's the biggest story to the Niners this year.
Yeah, definitely. Absolutely.
Well, I guess, I can't say I've seen too many full Niners games, but judging by the numbers, it kind of almost looks like he's doing a good job hiding a lot of his weaknesses. He's not asking him to throw a bunch of times a game. He's not asking him to make really difficult throws. They're pounding him with Gore. I think they're 6th in the NFL in rushing.
Yeah.
And they're doing a good job of letting Alex Smith be a game manager because they have a stud defense, they have a good running game, and they can just afford to let Alex Smith sit back, make check down throws. Crabtree's emerging as a receiver. Davis is, a physical freak. So it's a good setup for him out there right now.
And that to me is the sign of a good coach, I think. So which leads me to the question, and I'll ask you first, Matt. John or Jim? I know we've been fortunate here with John for the past 3 years, but in looking what Jim's done so far, John or Jim, which guy would you rather have motivating your team and being your coach?
Well, I'll tell you what, it's a tough call because they're both pretty much the same kind of guy. Jim's a first-year coach. He's still a little rah-rah for me. But then again, John was too coming in, and that kind of rubbed players the wrong way. But I give the edge to John because he seems to get his guys up for games each week. He gets these guys ready to play. And he already has experience. 2 AFC championship games under his belt. That's not to say Jim won't be an excellent coach because he's already off to a great start, and he's got the Niners playing fantastic football. But I think right now I'd give the edge to John just because of experience-wise in the NFL.
Yeah, with the experience, you definitely have to. Harbaugh has got the guys 5-0. At home, of course, this year. And under Harbaugh, I'm sure you guys saw this. Big news up there in Connecticut. The Ravens are wearing black this week, and the Ravens are 5-0 in black under John Harbaugh. So, you throw that in there, Mr. Guthrie, and I think we know how this thing's going to end. But
5-0 in black.
That's right, 5-0 in black. And Matt can tell you, man, it seems like during the end of the Billick era, anytime they wore black on national TV, I was just writing the game off like it wasn't going to go well.
Yeah, Bart Scott's throwing flags in the stands.
Yeah.
Oh, God, that was the Patriots game. I remember.
Brutal. So, all right, an unbiased opinion from Patrick Guthrie. Which Harbaugh would you rather have leading your team?
I'm kind of tired about hearing how everybody would rather have Jim, to be completely honest with you.
Really?
And I like Jim. And obviously he's done a great coaching job. He's out there doing a phenomenal job with a team that finished what did they finish last year? They were well under 500 in a bad division.
They were 6-10, weren't they? 5-11.
5-11, maybe. But honestly, all that really counts in this league is playoff wins. If it wasn't about playoff wins, Norv Turner would be a hell of a coach.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
John Harbaugh wins in the playoffs, and I think John Harbaugh does it with that's an established locker room that he went into. When he took over that team, there were plenty of veterans that said they wanted Rex Ryan as the coach. So he probably went in there not the favorite amongst all the guys when he started coaching them.
That's a good point.
So for him to be able to win over that locker room and for him to be able to win, once Jim Harbaugh wins a playoff game, then start talking about how good he is. Because
look into your crystal ball and tell me, is that going to happen this year, or are the 49ers just a product of, the worst division in football?
It all depends where they play. It's funny because I heard this on the radio today. Green Bay projects really well as a dome team, and the fact that they play at Lambeau in the playoffs is probably going to hurt them, actually.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to be cold. It's going to be windy. San Francisco projects as a cold weather team because you're not going to have Alex Smith throwing the ball down the field. You have a really good run defense, which is what you need in cold weather. So I think if they play on an indoor field, I think they're going to get wrecked, truthfully. But if they play maybe out in Chicago, maybe out in Green Bay, then I think they have a chance.
Matt, what do you think? Are they for real?
I think they're what they are right now, the second best team in the NFC. It all depends on the quarterback play. If Alex Smith can continue to play within himself, I think, and within what the Niners want him to do, and they just keep giving Gore the football, I think they can make a decent run. But if Alex Smith doesn't have a good game, I don't know. I mean, they could be a one and done type team.
Well, it'll be a blast to watch. Two things I'm looking forward to watching most. Number one, hair tackles on Torrey Smith, who told us today that he's not cutting the dreads. He will not be cutting the dreads.
The only Raven that I really root for. The only one.
Thankfully, Pac-Man Jones won't be out there. I know that hair tackles are perfectly legal, but for some reason, just seeing Pac-Man Jones do it, I just feel like it's a dirty play because it's coming from Pac-Man.
Because everything Pac-Man Jones does is dirty.
It's true.
Pac-Man Jones cleaning his kitchen is dirty. I mean, everything he does is dirty.
I think he did it because didn't he used to have dreadlocks? I think he was.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
I think he was angry that he didn't have dreadlocks anymore, so he wanted to take it out on Torrey.
I think they cut him after your fifth trip to the
Damn your beautiful hair, Torrey. Have it after this play.
Torrey tweeted Larry Fitzgerald earlier today, and he was like, "Hey, bro, have you ever had a hair pulling incident in a game?" And he goes, "Nah, man. Just it's going to happen more often now, or something like that. Just be cognizant of it."
Yeah, you got to watch out. So I'm looking forward to seeing that. I don't expect any hair pulling in this game. And then the other thing, as Terrell Suggs
about Torrey Smith, he's almost the number one target at this point. If you look at last week,
he's the deep threat.
He is. Not only is he the deep threat, Bolden was targeted like twice. I mean, for him to develop that sort of chemistry with Flacco right now, besides Derek Mason, when's the last time that Flacco developed that sort of chemistry with a receiver? And he's a rookie receiver.
And I've talked about this on BSR. It feels like it happened overnight, really, because the Ravens brought in Lee Evans, who obviously has been sidelined. He played last week, but in a very limited capacity. But the Ravens brought in Lee Evans, I really thought, because Torrey Smith struggled in training camp. I mean, he was making some mistakes and just really, it looked really raw. Obviously had the speed, but just didn't seem like he was going to be a difference maker at all this year. And I mean, he's proved everybody wrong. It's been a blast to watch. I'm glad to see that the Ravens finally have a guy that can stretch the field a little bit. And I mean, he's just burning secondaries. It's awesome.
He's got freak of nature speed, and it's even faster watching it live than it is on TV or on video, because he burnt that Cincinnati secondary on that touchdown throw by Joe.
Yeah.
And I mean, he has a little bit of issues still running routes, I think. I think he could be a little bit better with that. But as far as speed goes, I mean, he's something the Ravens haven't had for, I can't even think of the last guy that had.
I don't know, man. Yeah, I don't know who would compare to him. And, I'm really hopeful that Lee Evans will return to form too, because if you can have two guys that can stretch the field like that, that'll be awesome. But, all right, so to move on from the Harbaugh, we're talking about hair tackles are the one thing to look forward to. And then my second thing, as Terrell Suggs pointed out today, as he told to the media, he's looking forward to the post-game handshake, which I think we all have to look forward to after this one. So that's the Harbaugh. Thanksgiving should be an awesome matchup. And, of course, break it all down on BSR. I want to switch to baseball here. Patrick, this is a topic that I know you and I wrote about during the season.
Yes.
Late in July, I think, was when Justin Verlander for MVP. Rumors kind of started hitting the interwebs, and it's official now. The guy's the MVP, and I got to tell you what, this is a topic that I don't think you and I will debate because I think we both agree on it. Verlander's the MVP. To me, he is exactly the definition of MVP. He is the most valuable player. In the league, and of course to the Detroit Tigers. So I was really happy to see that it happened.
I 100% agree, obviously, and I've said it since July. There's a lot of things, not just the traditional stats, the pitching triple crown stats, the ERA, all of that stuff. You need to think about the fact that the guy goes out and pitches 7-8 innings every start, and that saves that bullpen so many more innings. Yeah. Because that bullpen's not that great. Outside of Valverde this year, who obviously was perfect,
yeah, he was.
The bridge to him was not that good. And they didn't really have a good second starter until they got Fister, and he was a stud for the last month and a half, 2 months.
Yeah, he was crucial going into the postseason. Lund, are you on board with pitchers for MVPs, or are you not feeling it as much as we are?
I don't think I'm in the love fest with you guys. You guys are making it a damn good argument. Just look at Verlander's stats. 24-5, a 2.4 ERA, and he led in innings pitched and strikeouts. He definitely deserved the Cy Young, but I don't know, man. I just feel like a guy that only pitches 30 times a year as compared to a guy that might play 158 games a year, like, say, Jacoby Ellsbury.
So does your argument have more to do with the fact that pitchers shouldn't win the MVP or that Verlander wasn't deserving?
I think pitchers shouldn't win the MVP. I feel like it belongs to a position player. That's, I don't know. That's the way I look at it. That's why, I guess, in a way, that the Cy Young is for the pitcher.
But they do have a Hank Aaron Award for the hitters. As obscure as it may be,
yeah.
It's true. It is something that they have, and I understand the sentiment that people don't want pitchers to win it, but in my opinion, guys leaving them off the ballots when there's no explicit rule saying you can't vote a pitcher. If MLB says you can't vote a pitcher, you can't vote a pitcher.
Yeah, I agree. That's how I see it. It's MVP. It's most valuable player. If they don't want pitchers on it, then make it MVPP, most valuable position player. To me, Justin Verlander was the best guy. he was dominating this year. We can't argue that. I think all three of us sat there in May and watched Justin Verlander no hitter, which is just awesome. The guy just was throwing 100 miles an hour after pitching. Throwing 110 pitches. It was awesome to watch. So. I thought it was a great story all year long. I think he's deserving. And I know what you're saying about Ellsbury. It's tough because I feel like in baseball, I really feel like, and maybe it's a bias with the writers, but I think that the writers like to vote for guys that are on teams that, kind of go far. And with the Red Sox collapse, I think, whether right or wrong, Ellsbury obviously wasn't a part of it, but maybe kind of gets lumped into that category and didn't give it as many votes as some people thought they should have. I still think Verlander's the guy. I'm happy to see him win it. It's good, and it's awesome for baseball too that we're talking about this. It's great that
absolutely
there's even a controversy at all. So
right,
I think Ellsbury had a great year, but I think Verlander had an all-time year. And I think I still agree that position players should definitely be considered before pitchers. But maybe if Ellsbury gets to 40-40, then I say, all right, it's a little ridiculous that Verlander won. Ellsbury puts up 40-40. That 30-30 season that he had this year, which I think was 33 home runs, 39 steals, was the 40th 30-30 season since 1990. There have been a lot.
Yeah.
So, it's good. Vlad had a few of them in the middle of the decade, which look really similar to Ellsbury's, and he finished fifth in MVP voting behind, I think, 4 position players.
I just look at it too from, he was a Gold Glover this year, center field for the Red Sox. He played stellar defense. To me, that factors into it as well.
Yeah, I can understand that.
But, I think it is pretty neat that Verlander won both the Cy Young and the MVP because, no matter which way you look at it, he had an incredible season. But like you said, I think I would go position player first before pitcher. But it's just me. That's why I don't vote
Well, and I mean, there's definitely some bias. I mean, if you look at one of the big stories after the voting came out was Jim Ingram of the News Herald said that he didn't even put Verlander on his ballot because he doesn't think pitchers should be eligible. And, I listened to Ken Rosenthal today say that he kind of had a similar argument as you did, Matt, saying that Ellsbury should win it. But with that said, Verlander still had an awesome season, and he voted him second. The fact that you would leave a guy off the ballot altogether it's ridiculous. I mean,
that is ridiculous.
It's stupid. It doesn't make any sense. There's clearly some bias there, and I don't want to take that topic into something that drives me crazy as a Baltimore fan, and specifically, as a Ravens fan, and that's that Art Modell once again will not be inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame this year. The list of 26 semifinalists has been released, and Art, who's been deserving for years and years and years, is still not on that list. And if you want to talk about bias, Matt, it's coming right out of Cleveland right now, and once again, as it seems to every single year.
Yeah, they spearhead this whole thing, and it's just gotten to the point where it's sad because Art has done so much for the NFL, and he did so many things for Cleveland before leaving, and he's done things in Baltimore for the fan base here. I mean, how many more years do you leave this guy off the ballot just because of, something that he had to do? He felt he had to do was move that franchise to Baltimore. And,
yeah. It's crazy, and you can get into the comparing the Colts move to the Browns move. That's a topic for another day, and one that we've hit on as Baltimore fans for years and years and years, and it's not the same. And I understand, I do feel for Cleveland just because it's been a crap organization since they left, and they just haven't been able to get their feet under them. But they got their history back, they got their colors back, they got their team back. And, the Colts sneak out in the middle of the night, and Baltimore's got none of that. So, Johnny Unitas is frustrated from the grave that he's lumped in with the Indianapolis Colts in the Hall of Fame, which is asinine. But, Patrick, from a national standpoint, does this get any play at all, or is it just one of these things that we pay attention to in Baltimore?
Truthfully, the first I've heard of it. I kid you not. I'm sure you guys are real passionate about it. I agree that owners, that front office figures, that coaches should definitely be in the Hall of Fame. But it's a really imperfect system in terms of voting for the Hall of Fame. It's that way in every sport. Yeah. I mean, if people don't like you who are voting on that committee, it's the same as the MVP. It's the writers. If there's a certain group of people who don't like you, you're not getting it. I mean, it's kind of similar, and it's a different example, but how does Reggie Miller not even get voted for the finalists for the NBA Hall of Fame? I mean, it's the same concept. If somebody doesn't like you, you're not getting in.
Yeah, to me, it's like a classic case of, like when a janitor has keys and they think they're in control of everything. You give that vote to a writer, and suddenly they have an agenda with it, and that vote is 100 times more powerful in their mind than it actually is, and it's ridiculous, and it's sad, Matt, because I think Modell will go into the Hall of Fame, but unfortunately, I think he'll probably pass away before he makes it, which is really unfortunate.
That's what I was thinking too. Post this, it'll probably happen that way. The people that hold grudges right now will soften their stance, or whatever the case may be. But I'm with you on that. I don't think he's going to be alive to see an induction, which is a crime, in my opinion.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, man. I totally agree with you. And there's bias all over the place. We love Art because he brought football back to Baltimore, but I think he had much more meaning, especially in the TV markets, for revolutionizing the way the NFL is watched on TV. I think that alone should put him in the Hall, but it's sad. But so hopefully it'll happen one day. I'm not sure that it will, but we'll soon find out. But let's talk a little basketball, Mr. Guthrie. You being a Maryland Terrapin.
Basketball.
You being a Maryland Terrapin.
Yes.
Your new head coach, and I guess I should say our new head coach. I pull for Maryland, but Mark Turgeon kind of ripping into the Terps at a press conference.
I liked it. Yep. I really do. It's not really how Gary went about his business. Gary ripped into his kids on the floor, and I don't think Turgeon does that as much. But truthfully,
not as sweaty.
The team isn't playing well up right now, and it's very transparent that him and Terrell Stoglin, the point guard, do not see anywhere near eye to eye. I don't even think they're looking in the same direction, truthfully. Yeah, I mean, the team is really... I think Dino Gaudio, who was calling the game the other night, said they're probably one of the most stripped bare rosters in the nation. Yeah. They have 7 scholarship players. So there's only so much you can work with, but still, we have a negative assist to turnover ratio right now between the two kids playing point guard, Stoglin and Faust, who's a freshman, and he's playing out of position, so it is somewhat forgivable. But right now, the team's a mess, and it did need to be called out for it. I mean, if you can't run your offensive sets that you drill in practice against Iona and you get waxed in the second half, somebody should say something.
What do you think the expectations are for this team this year?
Low.
How low?
Let's see. I mean, you need to be...
It's going to be a tough year.
It's going to be a tough year is the way I'd put it. And I do like that he's gone out and I think he's got the 17th best recruiting class for next year, which is what you're looking for, because there's kids that dropped when he came in. We lost 2 or 3 recruits.
Delonte West helps.
Huh?
Delonte West, the assistant.
Delonte Hill, yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, Delonte Hill, not Delonte West.
They do have 2 great, and I know Gary is probably, I mean, grinding his teeth thinking about the assistants that we have right now. Delonte Hill is kind of known as one of those. Gary always kind of eschewed the AAU. Maryland is the AAU now. They have Bino Ranson, who pretty much covers it for Baltimore teams, and they have Delonte Hill, which pretty much covers all of D.C. He's a really well-known figure. I think he's one of the highest-paid assistant coaches in the country. So the days of Maryland not being able to recruit this area are done, period. I can promise that. I can say that Maryland's going to pull in top 15 recruiting classes with those 2 assistants consistently.
The future's bright there, I think. And that was one thing I looked at when we did hire Turgeon, is getting Phil, because he's an asset that I wish that Gary Williams would have had or would have allowed to have when he was coaching.
Yeah, I think the future's bright there for sure. I mean, sorry, I think I cut you off there, Patrick, but I think people are pretty optimistic. Maybe not this year, but maybe down the road.
They need to play a little bit. I mean, it's going to get better. It's not going to get worse than that first game against Alabama, who's a great defensive team. Turgeon and Stoglin are saying all the right things about each other in the media, so hopefully that gets back together. And Howard, the guy who should be the point guard, is going to be back. So it's going to get smoother. They're going to get waxed by UNC, who I think should pretty much run unimpeded to the championship. Yeah. I don't think Duke is as good as everybody else thinks they are, but I think they're going to get waxed by Duke, which is going to be rough because I hate when that happens. But a couple games in the ACC, maybe an upset, because Stoglin is electric when he's going right. But it's going to be an under 500 year. I just want to see good defense. I want to see fundamentally sound basketball as opposed to a negative assist to turnover ratio.
Yeah, absolutely.
What do you guys think about the 7-footer that'll eventually be able to play? Len, what do you think of him?
Alexi Len, the 7-foot, 18-year-old kid. I have no idea what's wrong with this kid. I have heard things saying this is like the best foreign prospect since Darko, and I have heard. I mean, Darko obviously, when he was coming into the league, was supposed to be a stud. So I've heard that. And I've heard, he's too thin. He's very unpolished. He's going to get crushed in the ACC. It's like, I mean, I have no idea what he could be. Yeah. He'll provide front court depth. He's bigger than Baron Weiss, who looks like me, but a little bit taller, and looks like he wears a lot of sunscreen all the time.
All I know is I don't want to go against him in my family pickup football game because I'm dominant at 6'2", so 7 feet.
But he's thin, so you can. I mean, he's probably just about as thin as me and you, so you can probably press him at the line.
Yeah, but he's got 10 inches on me. I don't know that it matters how thin he is. I don't know. I'd have to get a good push off there.
Fall over and they call the pass interference.
All right, so speaking of turning things around, Matt, our alma mater, Towson University, goes from worst to first in the CAA. How proud are you, man?
I think that's awesome, man.
It's great.
I think it's great. I'll be honest. I didn't see a football game while I was at Towson. I mean, they were so bad, but Rob Ambrose has turned the squad around.
He has, yeah.
And the guy that has really spearheaded that is Terrence West, the running back. He's been phenomenal this year. 27 touchdowns, Zach.
That's unbelievable.
Unbelievable. Almost 1,300 yards of rushing. And I was looking up some stats. 6 straight 100-yard games, and he had 261 rushing yards against New Hampshire in their win over New Hampshire. So, I mean, he's really transformed that offense, and the defense has played a lot better this year too. And they're going to play Lehigh on December 3rd.
That's awesome, man. I'm happy to see it, and I know Towson's worked really hard to, kind of make that happen. I'm glad to see Ambrose, starting to turn it around. I know Towson's really building for the future. Obviously, their campus expansion, and I think their thing is they looked at Maryland and said, why can't we do that? Why can't?
Oh yeah, why can't we?
Not football necessarily, Patrick.
Why can't we do that as
I hope it's not football.
No, it's not football. No, but no. Can they contend with Maryland though? I mean, can they? I know they're building the campus to contend with Maryland. Can they get to that level?
It's hard to say. I mean, the way that they're in place now with the coaching staff, they're going to start recruiting more in this area, which is a good thing. And I tell you what, that Terps, the game they played down at College Park, they were in that game in the first half. I think they had their quarterback, the second-string QB in there. A few throws here and there. I mean, that game could have been a lot closer. Maryland obviously pulled away in the second half, but that first half they kind of hung in there with Maryland and showed them that they weren't to be taken lightly.
Yeah, man, it'll be good. I'm looking forward to just going back to the campus and seeing how they built everything up. I feel like we were just a couple years off, Matt. I mean, it was awesome. I definitely enjoyed my time in Towson, but they were throwing up new buildings there left and right, and I think it's going to be pretty awesome here down the road. Whenever that plan gets finished, I'm sure it's like a great 10-year master, maybe even longer than that master plan. I don't know, but it looks pretty awesome. So I'm happy to see them building it up. Hopefully they can contend with your Terps there, Patrick.
Pass. I have a lot of things. I mean, I mentioned it when I wrote in the beginning of the season. I was very wrong about the Terps. There are a few things I was right about. Their defensive coordinator is just as brutally terrible as I thought he was going to be.
You did say that.
I don't agree with the O'Brien benching. You're not going to get a pro-style quarterback to come play at Maryland if you're going to bench the kid that was the ACC Rookie of the Year. I understand he's having a rough year. Don't try and – how many teams are successful with an option offense? Not many. West Virginia under Rich Rod, Oregon. I can name maybe –
and the Denver Broncos.
Exactly. Oh, my God. Probably name 4 or 5 others. Stop trying to build an option offense. Work with the kid who was the ACC Rookie of the Year last year. Adjust your offensive system to him. I'm done. I don't want to talk.
Let's go to baseball. Let's go back to baseball. The CBA is out today. How awesome is it that the negotiations between the union and baseball are the smoothest amongst any of the 3 other professional sports? I think it's great.
Oh, I love it.
It's awesome, man. It's great to see baseball healthy. Baseball's my number one love, and I'm happy to see it get worked out. So, some pretty interesting stuff there in the CBA. I don't know if you guys got a chance to really dig into it, but playoff expansion is a possibility in 2012. Before it had looked like 2013 would be when they'd be looking to add another wild card. I love the idea of playoff expansion. What do you think, Matt?
It gives the Orioles a shot, a little bit better shot of snagging that second playoff spot. No, I think it's great. I read a stat of the NBA. What is it, 14 or 16 out of the 30 or whatever it is.
Yeah, even with the 2 additional wild card teams, baseball would still have less playoff teams than basketball and hockey and I guess football too, right? Is that right?
Yeah, football is 14. 14? I'm drawing a mental block. But Yeah, I think it's cool that the playoffs are expanding, and I guess it has something to do with Houston kind of moving over and evening things out.
Yeah,
but,
I'm glad to see that happen. That only makes sense.
Yeah, I wish maybe we can get the Orioles to move to the NL East. What do you think?
I don't know, man. I don't know that we want any part of the NL East.
I think there's only one team in the NL East, and then maybe the Nationals if they start if the kids pan out and stay healthy there.
Yeah, I think they're building something good there. I don't know. They got some good pitching. Yeah, who knows? I don't know. AL East is still baseball's toughest division, though. So.
Yeah. I couldn't see the Orioles not being in the AL East. That's
it's weird. You want to win there at this point. You want to build a winner in that division.
Right.
Some interesting stuff. It is mandatory to play in the All-Star game, which I think is very interesting. Basically, the rule is unless you give Bud Selig a doctor's note, if you're elected to the All-Star game, your ass better be there, or I don't know, you're gonna get fined or in some kind of trouble or something. But I think that's pretty cool because Patrick, I don't know what you think about this, but I actually like the All-Star game having some meaning. Home field advantage in the World Series, and now that they're making the players actually show up, they're sticking to their guns there, and I think it's pretty awesome.
I kind of feel bad for the players, truthfully. I do. I understand. I like that he's trying to make the All-Star game have meaning because it didn't used to like it did in the 70s when there wasn't as much free agency and team movement.
It's the best of the All-Star games of the other sports.
Yeah, I mean, it's just. I think the best argument I heard is if you're really just not gonna go to the All-Star game, just announce it to the fans and just say, listen, I appreciate all the votes. I'm going somewhere with my family for the break. Don't vote for me. Take your name off the ballot. Was my opinion in the matter. Because listen, these guys do play the longest. They play 162 games. We know what the schedule is like.
Yeah, we do.
They play.
But we didn't get paid like baseball players.
You got the All-Star break off, and I understand they make a lot of money and everything. Obviously, they make millions upon millions of dollars, but they get those few days off. If they want to go spend it with their families, that's fine. Take your name off the ballot, so fans aren't disappointed. When you
tell him he's wrong with this. Tell him he's wrong with this. The fans deserve to have the guys that they vote there. Come on, man.
Well, that's the problem. The fans have too much voting, in my opinion.
Oh man, I guess I'm alone in this.
We should know this for a fact. Look at all the Red Sox and Yankee players.
That's true.
I in my opinion, I think that needs to be revamped a little bit. Is the voting process to get these guys into the All-Star game? But yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of indifferent on this. If I think for like TV value, you're getting the best of the best on both sides, and that can only mean good things for that All-Star game.
And think about what Lund's saying here, because it does tie back into my point. Think about the guys that didn't go to the All-Star game this year. The one guy that was a big deal about was Jeter.
Yeah.
And he didn't deserve to be there in the first place, judging by his numbers.
That's a good point.
If you have less fan voting, and you have, more, I guess, I don't know who you would give the voting to, maybe some to the players. If it's more based on merit, it's going to be less of a, some guy gets 9 All-Star games in a row, and year to year you're going to have different people. And they're going to want to go more. If you're having a great year, you're more than likely going to want to go, as opposed to Jeter, who's hitting, I don't know at the break, 240 or something like that. Who wants to show up to your 15th All-Star game when it's the one you least deserve to go to?
Yeah, that's true. And he didn't show up. But I don't know. I think that if baseball is going to decide that, or stick with their guns there and say that the All-Star game has meaning, then they should force the guys to be there, put the best players on the field, because that's what's worse. The worst thing about this is when you don't have the best players on the field when it means home field advantage in the World Series. And hey, it kind of played a factor this year with the Cards having home field advantage and the Rangers kind of
definitely
blowing them away. So it's important. But I like it. I know there are a lot of old school guys that say that they don't like it, and I don't know. I think I like the fact that it has meaning. I think it's pretty cool. So I'm glad to see them enforcing that a little bit more. But we're running out of time. But I want to hit on a couple quick topics before we get out of here. Your coach, Mr. Guthrie, Rex Ryan, fined $75K for dropping an F-bomb on a fan. Now, this was interesting. I watched the video when it surfaced. That was against the Patriots. Basically, if you didn't see the video before it got pulled off YouTube, I think it's back now. But
I saw the video.
For our listeners, basically, Ryan was running into the locker room at halftime, and a fan yelled, that Bill Belichick was a better coach. They looked up at the fan, and, it was clear as day. He told him basically to shut the F up, and, there's no doubt about it. So the NFL dropped the hammer, $75K on Rex Ryan. It's pretty crazy, man.
It's camera phones, man. Everybody has their own video camera these days. Do you really think back in the 1970s, John Madden didn't say that to somebody 8 million times? Do you think that hasn't happened before 1 million times, a coach running into the locker room and he says something to a fan? There's 1 million cameras around. They catch everything that happened. I guess he does have to get fined because somebody posted it on YouTube or somebody sent it into ESPN. I think it's a little ridiculous, but obviously for censorship purposes, yes. He earns a healthy chunk of pay for what he does as a head coach. I'm sure it doesn't bother him that much.
You know what? This is, and Matt, tell me if I'm wrong here, but this is the type of bull crap that the NFL needs to get away from. And let me tell you what. I'm not a big Rex Ryan fan. I think what he's created in New York is ultimately going to lead to his demise. Blah, blah, blah. I've talked about that nonstop. But the fact that you're going to fine a guy $75K for dropping an F-bomb on a fan when basically the guy built up all the hype around his team and really the hype around the NFL in Hard Knocks for doing that, dropping those words amongst his team. So the NFL has this BS double standard where, if he does it on TV and it helps promote the league, it's okay. But if he yells it at a fan and it gets caught on a camera phone, then we're going to fine him $75K. It's ridiculous. It's the same thing as, how the NFL doesn't allow alcohol in the locker rooms. You never see a champagne celebration after the Super Bowl, which is stupid in my opinion. Because every 6 seconds they're taking a commercial during an NFL game. And what is it for? Coors Light, Bud Light, Miller Lite, or another crappy American beer. But you can't have champagne in a locker room because...
the Americans.
Yeah. Well, you can't have champagne in a locker room because it's alcohol, and the kids could see them having alcohol, and that's terrible. It's the same thing. So, you want to find Rex Ryan for dropping an F-bomb, that's stupid because you encouraged it all last season when he was on Hard Knocks, and I don't know. I think it's ridiculous.
I feel like Roger Goodell has just made this league so corporate. I don't know. Do you think Tagliabue would have done this kind of double standard, as you say? I don't think so.
No.
I'm not the biggest fan of Rex Ryan, but I really don't think he should have been fined. Especially, I don't think, was it on live TV that you saw it? Or?
No, it wasn't on live TV. It was a guy in the stands dropping. And let me ask you, you bring up live TV. Lee Corso, Google his name right now and see what pops up. The guy drops an F-bomb on ESPN. Have you heard anything about a fine for him?
Nope. All he had to do was apologize, and that was, I saw that live. That was...
He laughs it off.
That was wild. He was hoping the censors would have called him, but they definitely didn't.
No. No, that's a joke. I don't know. It's stuff like that with the NFL that drives me crazy, man. They try to come off as this real clean league, and if you do something bad, we're gonna fine you. But if you're on an HBO show and you use bad words, it's okay. It's stupid. What's that?
That'll really bump our ratings up and, hype the season coming up in your team.
Yeah, exactly. No, that's what it's all about. If it promotes the NFL, you won't get fined. But if it looks bad on the league, then we'll send you the fine in the mail. It's stupid. And like we said, man, I'm not a big Rex Ryan fan either. I think the guy's sorry, Patrick, but I think he's kind of a joke, and he drives me crazy half the time. But I got to defend him here. The NFL has just overstepped their boundaries on that one. $75K, it's ridiculous.
That's a good amount of change right there.
No doubt. Last story of the day: a guy, breaks into White Sox GM Kenny Williams' house He drank his beer, he ate his frozen pizza, used his computer, he got in his bed, he defrosted some lobster. He was reportedly wearing his 2005 World Series ring.
Wow.
Patrick, while he was at it, he should have tried to make a deal for Adam Dunn.
If you're going to break into somebody's house, it sounds like a movie. It's hilarious. Like, he really went for broke. Like, he got in the house, and he's just like, you know what? I'm gonna enjoy myself while I'm here. I don't know if he actually would have made off with anything. Like,
I don't think he wanted to.
It certainly doesn't seem like it. Like, oh man, let me put on this World Series shirt. While I'm here,
Does Kenny leave his World Series ring laying around though? That's what I want to know. The guy's wearing his clothes in his bed, and does Kenny's World Series ring just laying on the dresser or something? How does that work?
Mantle somewhere, like a school ring in a box,
Yeah. How does that work? No
I think that guy probably could have diffused the situation just by being calm. Because it's not like Kenny Williams would have walked into him in a ski mask, plundering through his
I hear Kenny Williams is a pretty scary dude, but I gotta tell you,
I hear that too. I hear him and Ozzy had some legendary fights.
I don't know that I want to be caught in the middle of that, but I gotta tell you, if you're going for that, if you're gonna be that lackadaisical, if you're drinking his beer and eating his food, just sit on the couch and wait for him, raise a glass, ask him if he wants a beer.
Just have the lobster ready next time, and I'm sure he won't be as angry. Butter poach that lobster before he gets home, and you're fine.
You just got to play off of that, man. You act casual.
What beer do you think he had in the fridge? Do you think he had?
What does Kenny Williams drink?
Beer?
It's not as good as this Fat Tire, which I'm having right now. I don't know. What do you think Kenny drinks, Patrick?
I don't know Kenny Williams that well. I don't want to make any broad, sweeping beer generalizations about Kenny Williams.
I think it was something. He's not a guy that's drinking the crap that's advertised on NFL. That's for damn sure. I think it's something pretty good. If he's casual enough to leave his World Series ring laying around, I think he's the type of guy that goes all out, Matt.
Yeah, he seems like a smooth guy to the media. He's very, very savvy, talks well, speaks well.
Yeah.
I'm thinking maybe, I don't know, maybe some Heineken chilling in.
Heineken? I can see that, yeah.
Like that. I don't know, like a Rolling Rock, something to that effect.
I could see that.
You got lobsters in the freezer, you have nice beer.
No doubt. Yeah, that's the telltale sign right there. All right, well, that's going to do it for us for the BSR Podcast, a Thanksgiving edition of the BSR Podcast. I want to promote real quick. Check us out on Facebook, facebook.com/Baltimore Sports Report, twitter.com/BAL Sports Report, and our Tumblr, which is just kicking ass and taking names, BaltimoreSportsReport.tumblr.com. So be sure to check us out there. Mr. Guthrie, I hope your cousin or uncle Jeremy stops by and plays some football with you on Thursday. But regardless, enjoy the game. Enjoy the Harbaugh.
I will be the quarterback if he does. There will be no discussion.
Thanks for being here, my friend.
Yeah, man. No problem.
And Mr. Lund, we want to give a little teaser what you're working on BSR. Let's just call you the Ravens professor on BaltimoreSportsReport.com. Thanks for being here, buddy.
Thank you, sir. And Patrick, happy Thanksgiving to you and to you, Zach.
Thank you.
Yeah, I will be the professor, so to speak. I'll be grading each and every one of the categories of the Ravens facet, both offense and defense.
Yeah, man, we're looking forward to it. So after Thursday's game, if you want to get a good breakdown, Matt Lund will have it for you on BaltimoreSportsReport.com. That's going to do it for me. You can check out my work and everybody's hard work on BaltimoreSportsReport.com. Thanks so much for listening. We'll have another episode again next week.